It is heartbreaking because I think having gone through that, particularly if I think back to the charity gala evenings and those heartbreaking videos, they hit you very, very hard. In the beginning, when she was first diagnosed, she didn't want to tell anyone. She wanted to just deal with it and come through it. But once she came out the other side of the surgery, that's when she decided, no, I want to talk about it. I want to see if my story can help other people.
Hello, I'm Jo Elvin, former CEO of Children with Cancer UK, and today I'm delighted to be able to talk to one of the charity's star ambassadors, Paula Radcliffe, MBE. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Paula's incredible achievements as one of our finest long-distance runners, winning races all over the world, including the London Marathon an amazing 3 times. As an Olympic gold medalist and a former Commonwealth and World Champion, her running has also earned her many different titles, including the Sports Personality of the Year award. She joins me via the powers of Zoom to tell us more about her work for this brilliant charity. Paula Radcliffe, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, we're here to talk about your role as ambassador at Children with Cancer UK. Can you tell us firstly how you first became aware of the charity?
Oh, wow. Thinking back, I think I was vaguely aware of the charity through the Fells, through Isaac Fell and his parents, Liz and Simon. And they've done some work and continue to do some work with Children with Cancer UK. And then Denise Lewis was the ambassador or patron before me, and she reached out to me. She knew what we'd gone through with Isla, and she just said, look, I'm stepping down, but I think you would be a really amazing fit. Can I introduce you to the team there? So she did that, and basically it was a great fit, and I was really, really keen to work with the charity and just to try and give back and make as big a difference as I can to all of those children out there and everybody working to support them.
Because you've alluded to that, there's some people obviously know, but for those who don't, I understand that you've had a really personal connection to the charity and the cause.
Yeah, my daughter Isla was diagnosed with a malignant germ tumour on her ovary during COVID. So when she was 13, it was relatively quickly picked up from us going to see the paediatrician. Was about 9 days before we were starting the chemotherapy for the first time in the hospital in Nice. We were lucky. It was a childhood cancer that can be treated very well. It was a great team around us. Even amidst the struggles of COVID, I was able to be with her every step of the way, and the outcome has been good and has been optimistic, and she is now all clear with regular follow-ups moving forward. So, like I say, we were one of the fortunate ones. I think what really hit me hardest was starting to work with the charity and hearing that actually all childhood cancers should be curable and should be beatable. And it's that goal of trying to get to that, because I mean, we all know cancer is a horrible, horrible disease. And for some adults, they aren't lucky enough to have those odds. But if childhood cancer can be beaten, and it is just a question of earlier diagnosis, better and faster treatment, and us working as much as we can to up the research and development, to up the diagnoses, and the support around that, and just to try and make sure that we approach that 100%, then that's a really, really strong thing to be aiming for.
Now, like a lot of parents that I've met since I've been working with the charity, you're something of a reluctant expert in a lot of childhood cancer information, but you're also you're able to have that personal connection with parents. No parent ever dreams that they will hear your child has cancer. It's just everybody's worst nightmare. Can you explain a bit to people who don't know, or even begin to explain what that's like to go through emotionally as a family?
It's extremely, extremely hard on the family, and not just on the parents. It's everybody in the family. For me, one of the hardest things was making sure that my youngest son was okay and was not neglected, in the fact that all of the focus was understandably on his older sister. We had, as I said, we went through it during COVID, so we essentially had to cut off from grandparents that wanted to be there and wanted to be able to support in order to isolate and protect. So that was an added complication. And as you said, that nothing prepares you for it. Nothing prepares you for hearing that your child is going through that, because every parental instinct is to do it for them and to take over for them, to do what you can to protect them. And you can't do that. They have to grow up. They have to do it on their own. All you can do is be there, reassure them, hold their hand every step of the way. And you need someone for you as well. Sorry. Sorry. You need someone for you as well. And that's why I think it's so important, the work that Children with Cancer UK does, because not only is the focus on the research and development, the diagnosis and the support for the patients going through the treatment, it's on the family as a whole. And that support system for the family is vital, because we're all individuals as well. Everybody has different ways of dealing with it. And so that support has to be very unique and very adapted to the different members of the family, and tailored to fit that individual person and to support them as much as possible.
Absolutely. As you say, everybody deals with it differently. And I've met a lot of parents who, as soon as their child is, thankfully, the diagnosis is good, the outcome is good, they're cancer free, the last thing they want to do is keep existing in that cancer space. And yet here you are as a really public, really famous ambassador for us. Do you ever have any mixed feelings about working with the charity now that you're through that journey?
No, not at all. I mean, it is heartbreaking, because I think, having gone through that, particularly if I think back to the charity gala evenings and those heartbreaking videos, they hit you very, very hard. And so that emotionally is putting yourself back in that. But like I say, I feel like we were extremely fortunate. I mean, yes, we had to face it, we had to get through it, but the outcome has ultimately been good. So anything that we can give back to make it any easier for somebody else going through that. And I'm a big believer in the more information, the better. For me, the more information, the more advice that I can get. You may not have to listen to that advice, and some of the advice that I might give might not work for some people, but at least I'm kind of putting it out there and trying to make a difference with it. So that's why I think it's for me a way of trying to provide something that would have helped me at the time, and that I hope might make a little bit of a difference, just in terms of the coping, even if it is just as simple as saying, you know what, be kind to yourself as well. Remember that it's not something that you've ever faced before, so you're not going to get it perfect right the first time around. And just little things like I can remember in despair just trying different foods that she would actually eat when going through the chemotherapy stays, and it being really random things like lemon juice on anything, or kiwi fruits, or just chocolate. It was really not what the doctors were suggesting it might be, but just little things like that. And if someone just said to me, you know what, just try that, it might have made a big difference in terms, because that relief, again, thinking back, it's huge.
Yeah, that's amazing. You touched briefly on attending the fundraising galas that the charity does. You're a very high profile, very welcome supporter at those events. What other things do you enjoy doing in your role as an ambassador for the charity?
Oh, wow. So many things. I mean, I think working with the children is really, really top for me. But also when it reaches out into the world of sport, whether that's in terms of parents being able to use sport as a form of therapy, as a form of coping, because that's important to look after themselves as well, and to have that kind of mental, I know it's a physical one as well, but that mental outsourcing of energy, just to come back a little bit more refreshed, with more available for the children. That's a really, really valid time. And when I went down to help in Brighton, and I know we're looking forward, we've got a few plans in the works potentially around the Boston Marathon next year. So that kind of thing I love doing, because it ties together my two worlds, in terms of just making a difference, but also having that team involved and that focus of achieving the marathon for a very, very good cause, and raising funds that are needed along the way, and bringing together another community. And it's a lot of fun just seeing those guys make their way from the start to the finish, and the pitfalls within the race, and trying to help within that.
Well, if anyone knows about running a marathon, it's the emotional pitfalls. But But you, your daughter Isla, she's doing well.
Yes, no, she's doing very well. She's actually doing her baccalaureate exams at the moment, and yeah, so she's doing very, very well. We get regular checkups. We had a little bit of a scare last year, but everything was all clear, so she's absolutely fine.
Gosh, that must be so hard to live with that sort of like that living test to test in that way. But she was. She is also does some junior ambassadorial roles for us, doesn't she? Which I feel like she's. The last time I saw her, she seemed to be really proud to be associated with the charity in that way.
Yeah, I think she went through the kind of the range of, in the beginning when she was first diagnosed, she didn't want to tell anyone. She wanted to just deal with it and come through it. But once she came out the other side of the surgery and she was essentially clear of the cancer at that time and still going through the monitoring, that's when she decided, no, I want to talk about it. I want to see if my story can help other people. And actually, even when she was going through her treatments, there was a small 2-year-old boy going through treatment at the same time, and I can remember her sitting down with him, just trying to again get him to eat something and just give him some advice. And she did have that perspective even then to turn around and say, you know what, Mum, it's easy for me because I can express what I feel, and I can at least say, I don't want to speak to anyone. I just want to hide under the duvet in the bed, and I don't want to face the world. But he can't do that, and he can't even say what he wants to eat. So she could understand that it was that much harder for those younger children because the communication barrier was there for them, and it was very real.
Gosh, to have that empathy, I think, is incredible. She was such a poised, grown-up young woman the last time I saw her. You must be so proud.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously you're proud of your children anyway, but having gone through what she's gone through, and I think that for her and probably for many of the children that go through this journey, that's the upside, is they come out of it very, very strong people that have a great sense of perspective on life and on things that for a normal teenager might be the end of the world and it would be a big drama. And they have that perspective, being able to say, you know what, it's actually not that big a deal. And I think trying to teach them to rationalize that with their friends who just don't have that level of emotional maturity is one of the things that to get them to understand that that's a skill. And that's a gift that they've come through that, and it's a bad reason that they have to come out of it with that gift, but it's a strength moving forward. And I think that's really, really important for them to understand, because those kids have been through something that has shaped them and has made them a stronger, more formidable person moving forward, and they will do great things, I'm sure, in the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. Finally, Paula, what would you say to anybody exploring the charity, maybe teetering on the edge of supporting, or what's the one message you really think people need to know about children with cancer, the charity and the cause?
I think for me, the one big thing that everybody needs to know about children with cancer is that underlining fact that 100% of childhood cancers should be curable. And if we can work towards that, if we can work towards every single child diagnosed being able to ring that bell at the end of the treatment, then that is game accomplished for what we're trying to do. So if you're looking for a charity where you can really make a difference, then get behind everybody at Children with Cancer UK, because what we're trying to do is something that can be done and can be accomplished. And it's not like that cliche of people saying, well, you're fighting cancer. If we're fighting it with the research that we can actually do it, then I think that is a huge, huge motivation to just get out there and do everything that we can to make sure that we make it so.
Well, I'm sold. Thank you so much, Paula Radcliffe. Thank you.
Sorry about the tears. I didn't expect you to get so much.
No, I thought you were brilliant. I mean, how could you not? How could you not? It's like, when it's amazing. Well, not in a good sense, but what you've been through is incredible. I'll be meeting and talking with more of our fantastic ambassadors soon, so please do join me for that. And if you want to find out more about Children with Cancer UK, please visit the website, where you will find information about the support we offer and how you can help.